Sightstone. So
it's a good set of play, honestly. Like I'm glad. Sorry, burping. I had a bunch of citrus right before I came on the cast. So Kha'Zix's first pick though for Curse Academy. I like that one. Great champion there for these guys, and another really hotly contested early pick champ.
That's most likely going over to Pat in the jungle. He's actually T-Tours. We saw him last series.
Yeah.
He's the same guy, so he's sticking around, doesn't have to re-synergize with a lot of people. But Kha'Zix, everybody's evolving that R first, getting 3 cloaks, the extra damage reduction. I think the biggest part of that, like everybody has a different opinion. They're like, that's the damage reduction. I'm like, it's the 4 slows and the chase potential he has.
I think so.
Hit him once with Unseen Threat, you can cloak 3 times, keep getting it on. It's bonus damage, slow. It's ridiculous.
And I think teams are still getting used to playing against him, though, because you realize part of the power of that ulti is the fact that when you re-stealth, it recharges your passive. If you bring a pink ward into the team fight and have him revealed for the next 2 stealths, you actually lower his damage output significantly, and the CC. So I think teams are still getting used to playing against him and
just sweep him.
Yeah, I mean, you can upgrade
lens.
to Oracle's Lens, but even just the pink ward in general, I think would have helped significantly in kind of hooking him down a little bit in the fight. So Orianna does come through. You mentioned that one in the pregame, but Bishu's Orianna is here. The Annie support for Glebe Glarbu as well. So already a bunch of great CC and initiation for C9T.
Yeah, and Bishu talked about his Orianna play. I've seen him be behind about 8k gold in the Challenger Series back in the amateur scene, and his Orianna was how they would come back. Because he farms consistently. He always takes rates. He will continue to pad his numbers. He's a very high number farming champion, and he just clears it out. Boom, get blue buff, boom, just go ahead, wraiths gone. Keeps doing that over and over again. And sometimes he'll farm your wraiths.
Yeah.
So he's basically clear the wave, your wraiths. Clear the wave, my wraiths. Does it over and over again.
Well, it makes sense because you think about what else he picked up here. The Pantheon jungle is through there. The Pantheon, low farm, early pressure, but he can leave his camps up. The Rise top lane, though, for Yazuki, that's going to be a fun one facing off against the Thresh and LeBlanc for Curse Academy.
Yeah, and that is actually a champion he's picked up in solo queue. It does very well against Renekton, which will dissuade Rux from once again going with his dominating champion that he had a 24 KDA on.
Yeah.
Because Renekton is all about that early game pressure, but Rise levels 1 through 3 just bullies him so hard and then continues to just auto attack harass, and the nerfs to Doran's shield and the buffs to Tyr make Rise a premier top 3 top laner right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Curse Academy had that prepared. They let the top laner get picked up. And, we saw this actually from Curse's Quas.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, I'm going to pick up Aatrox to beat this matchup because I can sustain against him and I have all-in potential when the jungler comes. So once again, we're going to see Aatrox as a counter pick to Rise, if you believe Quas, you believe Rux here. And heck, I mean, who better to learn that than Curse Academy? Like the literal actual junior team to Curse. So, apparently these guys are teaching some things to their junior members, and it's going to be a fun matchup. Now Cloud9 and Tempest forced to make their last choice. AD carry going to be Vayne for Altec. So Vayne, I like this because Vayne gets an easy lane against Sivir.
Yeah, they last picked it too, so they are very aware of what it's going to go up against, and you talked about the ranges there, the 550 versus the 500. And Sivir can't do much against Vayne. Your spell shield will only work against Condemn, and that's a very small window. And you need to spell shield the Annie stun, or else you will eat the Condemn too.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of wombo combo in that bottom lane. And typically, you want to lane swap a Vayne. I don't know if they'll do it this time.
In this one, they don't need it, honestly. Annie can cover Thresh. Vayne, in general, can dodge away Sivir. I remember actually in the middle of, I think it was Season 2, I was sitting behind the players at DreamHack, and I was like, Vayne's coming back. This was back when Vayne was unpopular again, back in the middle of Season 2. And I was like, why are you guys picking Vayne so much? And the AD carries, they were saying she's a counterpick to Graves because you can tumble to dodge the buckshot. This is when Graves was really big. And in a similar case here, you can tumble the Boomerang Blade and, generally speaking, dodge the Sivir damage. It should be actually very easy to outplay her in the 1v1. Again, a lot of the reason I like Sivir here.
You can also tumble the Lucian Q. Even if it's already locked onto you, you can tumble and dodge it. No damage, but you will eat the Light Slinger passive after
Unless you tumble backwards into the side, then you're out of range.
Oh, the diagonal. All right.
The diagonal's the way to go.
But just going over the team compositions right now and what we saw coming out, Curse Academy, they looked like early aggression. LeBlanc, they have Kha'Zix, they have Aatrox. These are like mid-game assassin roaming type characters with a mix of damage. They have AP and they have AD. And then if you swap over to the side of Cloud9 Tempest, Rise, Orianna, things that need to be defensive, play passively at first. And then they have a Pantheon jungle. So if the Pantheon jungle, this is really where a lot of focus is going to be. Can he get his lanes going and keep them safe?
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't create a lead for his team, they're just going to have this huge gap when they get to the mid game, and Curse Academy could end it before Cloud9 Tempest ramps up, and they'll have to rely on wave clear.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering where the Cloud9 Tempest ganks really go, because you mentioned, right, they're
Vayne?
kind of... I mean, like, Vayne Annie's all right. Like, it's actually enough that you could get kills, right? Sivers short range, Thresh is short range.
Yeah.
Like, they'll pretty much always be in flash stun range from Annie. So I could see the flash stun into the Condemn into Pantheon and just like, well, you've been stunned for 4 seconds. At some point, you die during that. That one I totally see. Like, that's a good point out there. But like, Orianna versus LeBlanc, not easy to pick up kills there, even if your Pantheon comes in. Ryze versus Aatrox, like, yeah, you've got Rune Prison, but Aatrox is pretty durable. And with Dark Flight, like, I feel like top lane's pretty safe for Rux. We'll see if these players make me eat my words. But
I love that pick, though, the Aatrox into the Ryze.
Yeah.
And we always see this evolution with League, which makes it just a fantastic game. Like, when Trundle wasn't popular, it's like, oh, we have all these tanky passive top laners who get increasingly big with stats. Let's put Trundle on there. Shred all the stats, and he's very good early game.
Yeah.
Through all phases. And then the bigger you get, the bigger he gets in team fights. So I love that evolution. And now Ryze coming out with the fact that he bullies Renekton, and the fact that he can scale and has the increased range and etc. with the buffs to him. Now we might see Aatrox make his way back. Because Renekton can't hold his own against Ryze. Aatrox, all he has to do is auto-attack the waves to get his regen back.
Yeah.
And that'll waste Ryze's mana, which he uses to harass in the early game.
Yeah.
And eventually just whittle him down so he can't actually execute Aatrox all the way. I think if you actually stood there and threw all your Qs out and Aatrox just auto-attacked the entire time, you would lose all your mana before you killed him. Or even pop his passive.
It'd be close. I think you would have to get him down to half, then ignite, and then full combo him, so he doesn't like regen midway by spamming with his W passive out.
I'm talking early levels, like levels 1 through 5.
1 through 5, yeah.
There's no kill potential there.
It's got to be low. Like I'm curious, like if you can get a half HP Aatrox down. I feel like it's possible in like a full rotation, just because you could QW, QE, Q for the most part, and like maybe he's out of range of like minions. We'll see. I think.
Yeah.
It is unlikely, you're right. And again, Aatrox is the counter pick here. It definitely goes to Rux here. Mana Crystal opening for Yazuki. Top lane Ryze going to be farming up. Personally, I really like when Ryze and Vayne are on the same team, because they're such high persistent damage threats. You can only really get rid of one of them at a time, so someone's going to be dumpstering you with damage.
Yeah. And Bishu, he doesn't really need a ball delivery system. Talk about it all the time with Orianna, who's going to place it for you. Doesn't need it. He's good enough with his ball positioning that he will be able to get it into the fights, and his Nidalee and Orianna are his trademark champions.
Yeah.
That he's really relied on, and it's his fallback all the time. And we see Duosec actually not going for early game destruction, just looking to survive the lane with that Crystalline Flask.
I actually want to talk to some of the mid laners about when they open Flask versus Doran's Ring, because I don't actually understand the decision tree myself that well.
It's when you're going to take a lot of auto attack harass that you will lose every trade. Because of the Orianna Clockwork windup, you will not go even with a full-on auto attack trade. You have to throw spells at her to go even. And if you start shield, it's even worse. So that's the reasoning behind it, is that you need the consumables, because you're going to be throwing out your mana, you're going to be taking damage, and it's just to go even. You'll be behind a Doran's Ring.
Yeah.
But if you can get the CS over them, then you're good. It's completely worth it.
If you do the potions anyway, you might as well.
Yeah.
Like you've got to, I guess you project the lane and say, well, I need these many potions. Okay, screw it, buy a flask.
I'm sad mode again, because we have Doran's shield in the bottom lane on both sides.
Yeah. I understand it though. Like it's a lane where they want to fight. Like honestly, there's a lot of fight potential here on both sides. You land a hook, you're gonna get a lot of damage. Andy's gonna get a lot of autos off on you.
So they're actually lane swapping to the top lane for Curse Academy.
I'm surprised they opted into Doran's shield then.
Maybe they thought the Vayne would lane swap, but you don't lane swap versus a Sivir. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
And now they're gonna try to keep a Ryze down, and like we said, Ryze is the counter to Aatrox. So we're gonna put Aatrox in the bottom lane so that he's not up against the Ryze.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
And keep the Ryze farm down too.
They're going to keep the Ryze down. That to me is the real big reason why. We'll see what else these guys can do with this one. So the 2v1 setup there, opted in by Curse Academy. Glebe Glarbu already on the roam.
It's gone.
Ward down. Yep. Unfortunately for him, Kha'Zix did start on the bottom side, but with no aggressive wards, he didn't know that.
It's still information though.
Yeah.
You still know the jungle route, and you know that Kha'Zix will be on that top mid side by 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And that you're safe down bottom to have your jungler either mirror or rotate.
Yeah, and look at the reason for this, right? So Yazuki knows it's going to be 3 men top, so he leaves his lane just to protect his own buff, knowing Curse Academy could 3-man the buff.
Yeah, it's a very conscious decision. And Curse Academy, they are known for 3-manning buffs. Back when they did the Tri-Bruiser meta, they put their AP poker, like in Italy, in the mid with an Annie or a Fiddlesticks. So that when you invaded, it was a 4-on-3 at best at
Oh,
red
wow.
buff. Because you have the hard CC support there. But they've opted away from that. They've gone back to standard meta here. And we're going to have a 3-on-1 up in the top lane here. And they do see it.
But it's a late move from Kez. He started on the bottom side, then went top to the red buff, and didn't choose to defend. He's going all the way across the map to make his land on the bottom, to make his push to the bottom side. And Rux is already gaining experience. Like, these waves are all dead before they even get many major damage to the turret.
And
Rux
is
is level
an
3.
It is an Aatrox too, so once you kill him, you will be taking tower shots until you get out of the range, and his passive is down. They're going to get this top turret before that bottom turret even gets to half HP. And
Wow.
Yazuki, 2 levels behind here.
What an incredible start by Curse Academy. The 2-on-1 lane swap, I think it's even less for lane matchups. It's the fact that they could just outplay this overall. Kez solely to the bottom lane, even with the turret changes in like 4.1 or so that made them more durable, just crushed this.
They're going to continue to push this.
Oh yeah.
And Yazuki, like we said, still level 1. He was trying to be sneaky and absorb some EXP over the wall there, but none of the minions died. They cleared the turret too quickly, and they're most likely going to get another turret here. That wave is right on time so that they don't have to stop their siege.
Yeah, so there we go. Turret number 1 in the bottom lane goes down, but turret number 2 in the top lane going to be falling as well. Level 3 for all these guys up here. Yazuki's still 1, and you can see because of the scariness of a Thresh Hook is out of XP range. Now Cloud and Tempest only 1 turret. They recall back their jungler, and they're just down a turret here.
And they're still going for this. Yazuki, level 1, up against 3, 3, and 4. There's a 9-level difference combined between all of them over him. That is incredible, and it's terrible. It's a terrible position to be in. That you don't want to be a top laner when this is going on. I always watch like Season 3. It's like, oh, 3 people level 3, and I'm level 1 as a top laner.
I'm going to go hide real quick.
Yeah. And then we saw in the finals, like the Kennen was so low on levels. It was a lane swap.
Yep. Well, so a 900 gold lead here for Curse Academy. I believe Tier 2 turrets are worth 725 overall. So 725 of that 900-ish gold lead is just from turret number 2. The other little bit of that is a minion lead here for, looks like the jungler being a big part of that one. And that's part of the reason why you're seeing Sivir has less CS, by the way, is Kha'Zix was taking some of those. But the overall last hitting, of course, still very high for these guys. We'll see what else these guys can do now. Cloud and Tempest on the back foot. Down 1,000 gold early on from the turret game. Bishu would do a second, a bit of a trade. Do a sec, misses the E.
So he actually backs off despite having a huge mana advantage. Pat was seen by the ward. Doesn't actually check the bush for the pink. It's one of those less common pink ward spots. But they are going to start up the dragon here for Curse Academy. It's a good move.
Yeah, they've got 4 guys here. They made the rotation right as Cloud and Tempest recalled their duo lane. Honestly, the map so much better played here by Curse Academy. No one's even around to stop this one. Don't even care if they walk by a pink ward. This is theirs, so even more gold. It's going to be 125 per person, 625 gold dragon. Making that about 1350 in global objectives so far by Curse Academy.
And I talked about this at Champion Select. The team of Curse Academy is just so much stronger in the early game, early mid-game, than Cloud9 Tempest. You have Vayne, Orianna, Ryze. They take a while to ramp up, and Curse Academy already grouped as 5 in the mid. They don't care that Ryze is getting free farm. They're going to get objectives.
And they're getting him right there. Mid lane turret taking about 1/5, now a quarter of its health. C9T are around to defend. They do finally get rid of the minions here, but honestly not the best spot for these guys. Rux now going to go to the top lane. Still only on the Doran's Blade. Just going to walk to the top lane, though, and just get his farm.
Not like he has anything to ramp up, though. He doesn't need to get his items very early on.
Yeah, nothing he needs to rush right now.
Good rotations by him, though. He's been all across the map. Bottom, trekking all the way to Dragon. Mid, now he's top.
I do got to point out that Yazuki did more or less freeze his lane for a good long time, as long as he could anyway, and caught up back to level 5. So even though Global Gold has gone the way of CA, Yazuki caught up in levels finally. So he will continue to be a threat.
Almost got Vayne's cape.
Yep.
Would have had a talk with his tailor. No capes!
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's ruined so many superheroes.
Vayne, he has to do that this game. I don't think he has to get going. Bishu can set it up, Yazuki as well. They have to stall for the late game.
But actually, yeah, I mean, it's Vayne Ryze, of course they're going to.
Well, I was looking at Yazuki, he's down bottom.
Oh man. He doesn't know he's like in stun range with a Ryze and in Pantheon right there. Kez not safe though.
They know Pat's there though.
Alright, the Lantern comes down, but here comes the engage. It's going to be a 400. Larva flashed away. Pat taking a bunch of damage, and in comes Pantheon. What else can they pick up? They're exhausted. Altec the stun. Going to land. K1 not in a good spot. Chasing down the flash, and there's the kill. First blood to Yazuki. Big for him.
And that's exactly what they needed. I like that he came down from the top. He shoved it out, and Rux was freezing that lane. If you look at his CS, Yasuki's only gotten 3 in the past 2 or 3 minutes because he roamed bottom, sat there, was very patient. There's still a 1K gold difference between these teams, but it was the correct move to make to get his lanes going. If the jungler's not going to gank, just have your top laner come too. Make it a 3-on-4. And the numbers game is really the whole math of this match. They're like, Rux is up top, no way he can be down bottom. Let's 4v3 bottom.
Yeah.
And then Curse Academy's done it too. Like, let's 5-man mid with Rux top. 5-on-4. No problem.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing around the fact that their turrets are dead so well, actually. Vishu taking a bunch of pain right there, but you know, to kind of bounce off of you, Yasuki know he wasn't going to lose any minions top lane because there's no turret for him to die to.
Duosec just did a lot of damage to Orianna, which stopped the reinforcement of him on the red. So Curse Academy is going to take this second red away and stop a little bit of Pantheon's stickiness.
Stick-to-itiveness.
I was going to say stick-to-itiveness, but
is that not?
I abandoned it.
Why did you abandon it?
Stick-to-itiveness.
Now it's alone.
It sounds fun. Right?
I mean, the whole point of the word is that it has like
Sticky.
teammates. Yeah, it's sticky, and you erased it.
Yeah.
You're just mean.
Oh, he's using the ultimate. He has devolved.
He's gonna get the slow. The jump into Yasuki, low health bar. Nice slow comes in, and the burst makes it happen. Rux, just the passive, no big deal.
It's Aatrox, like always.
Yep.
I'm surprised that passive hasn't been popped earlier in some type of dive. Remember when Aatrox was extremely popular during Season 3 Worlds?
Oh yeah.
Because you couldn't dive him 3v1 and not get somebody low.
Yeah. You'd have to be so good at dancing turret aggro. And
Same thing with Zac.
Yeah, true.
Zac top lane was very popular for a while because of that. Because dives weren't as effective.
Yeah. And I remember actually, trying to think about this, that even though the little bloblets count as minions, you do still pull turret aggro by attacking them. When normally attacking minions does not pull turret aggro, so it does count as a champion as well.
This turret's already seen a little bit of a beating from previously. Just make a revisit to it. All 3 outer turrets are down, but now Curse Academy need to get deeper wards and push the advantage. We see it all the time when a team takes out all 3 of the outers and they don't do anything. Kind of sit on their hands and say, all right, we're just going to try to scale, and you can't do that against this Cloud9 Tempest team.
Nah, you've got to keep the pressure going on. 2,000 gold lead does keep Curse Academy in a good spot. Minute and a half to go until Dragon comes back up. And I feel like CA is the team that would want to make sure they get this. C9T, honestly, they'd be happy to keep waiting around for a while.
So Rux, it looks like he's going for first item Maw of Malmortius. Has the Hex Drinker, has the pickaxe.
Yeah.
We talked about it yesterday. That's such a great item. And as you get lower, it does more damage.
Yeah.
It's very cost effective. Once you reach that point where Aatrox is going to be sitting around half HP anyway.
Exactly. I mean, think about it as well as his W passive, the heal on it, as well as the damage portion, has an attack damage ratio on it. So the heal gets gigantic when you're low, from the AD as well as the triple efficiency.
I like that. It was a very unpopular item before. People would sit on Brutalizer, Hex Drinker forever, early, mid-game items for damage. And then
The month of March happened,
here we go.
and people decided to pick it up.
The Ides of March, the Maw of Malmortius.
Yep, there you go. Trying to think if there's like every March 15th a new big item, like it becomes popular. I don't think it's actually the case, but it'd be wonderful to like, think of examples. Tweet at LOL Esports.
What happened last year?
Which item is about to make its breakout appearance in the Challenger Series or LCS? Hashtag LCS big items.
Ohm Wrecker. Or no, Banner of Command.
Banner of Command is underrated. It is the highest AP 20 CDR item in the game.
Yep.
If like, for what it's worth, right?
That's
like,
true.
If you want 20 CDR and a bunch of ability power, it's better than Merlinomicon. Gives you a sweet passive, you're like Heimerdinger or Zyra. If they didn't need so much mana, it'd be the best item for them.
That's the thing too, is it gives 15% increased AD or AP to all minions around. So if you're Zyra, you're increasing your plant damage. If you're Heimer, you're increasing your turret damage.
Yeah. And actually, Heimer turrets don't cost much mana.
Nope.
So if you play like low rockets, Banner of Command Heimer.
I've been killed by support Zyra with Banner of Command.
It's great, isn't it?
It was ridiculous.
It's awesome.
It's like, they're plants! You're support! You're doing so much.
Yeah. Hey, man.
It's not fair.
Were you playing Zombie Brand? Because plants hard counter those.
Ooh, I like that shout out.
Yeah. It's
like
good,
that.
right? Here we go, guys. Back into the game. We are 12 minutes, 45 seconds in. Dragon just died so quickly.
Yeah. Went over to Curse Academy.
Yep.
No surprise there. They have that mid-game control of these objectives. The turrets are down. So much roaming power. But they do need that. Actually, I messed up. The bottom turret's still up. Ooh. They got the tier 2 in the top lane.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yeah, super early on. And they still only have lost one turret. The only turret Curse Academy have lost. was because of the early lane swap that they like super won in the first place.
They can kind of freeze that lane too. There's a big minion
Which
wave
they
there.
are. I mean, look at this. Mashby's killing double golems to make sure his minion wave dies fast enough before he goes back into it. You'll notice he's... I was about to say he's not using Ricochet, but he is. Because this minion wave is too big.
Look away, he's not using it.
No, he's actually just sweeping the whole minion wave. I'm actually surprised. He doesn't want to keep freezing. No, he's not, though. He wouldn't Ricochet if he wanted to keep those. So he's
equalizing it.
He wants to make a move. He wants to go somewhere else then with this. Either to push the turret down or to invade a buff. Otherwise, he could freeze forever.
Push the turret, get Vayne back down there, and then collapse on her.
Yeah.
They have the ward coverage. They have the pinks.
There's
they have
Kha'Zix.
Altec's coming back down. He doesn't have his ward available. Everybody else is kind of like, whoa, they're gone. Let's make a move, guys.
Wow. First Academy just got there first, but they're not trying to pressure the turret down. Mid lane was fully missing. They let Altec pick up minions here.
They have the ward coverage. When people start showing themselves, they'll most likely make a move. We'll have to see. They're sitting in the bush.
Well, keep in mind as well, they pulled attention away from Rux, who is splitting top lane without much ward coverage.
Yep.
So they've also kind of guaranteed, like, Pantheon had to be on that side to watch for the dive, or Yana came down to watch for the dive. And you point out, right, Rux, 96-62, still doing very well in that 1v1 against Yasuki. And at some point, he will pull attention.
The Curse Academy have a different MO than most teams. They're just going to hit the turret. They aren't going to dive you at all. We see so many people dive. We see, like, Cloud9 in the LCS dive people under turrets just to muscle it through, because the hardest form of CC is killing somebody. But here, they're going to get the turret and back you off of it.
Oh!
Kez, he's going for the jump.
There's a flash engage as well. Down goes Pat, and the engage comes in from Kez as well. Stun onto K1. Kill number 3 for the team comes through as well. 2-0. Great engage.
They didn't do anything on Curse Academy's side. They sat there for so long and allowed Cloud9 Tempest to evaluate the situation and what they needed to do. Everybody revealed themselves. Everybody on Cloud9 was sitting down there saying, all right, we'll slowly get the turret. And Cloud9 Tempest is like, all right, rotate, go clear a camp. Bishu's going to push middle, and now he's bottom.
Yeah, and the pink wards go down as well, actually. So after turrets go down, or sorry, after kills go through, you ask, you know, okay, what objective can you get after the champion kills? The objective that C9T just got is vision control over the dragon area. It is dark now for these teams, and as soon as we get the wards back down from Glebe Glarbu, vision control likely to go in Cloud9 Tempest's favor.
And they evacuated the area, and they left it up to K1 Pro, who has a pink ward, has lots of wards in his inventory. He'll most likely try to reclaim the ground that he lost over that and set themselves up to once again take that bottom turret. Didn't work out for them last time. I feel like they need to be more decisive in their movements. And like I said, they don't dive.
No.
They just like to chunk it away very slowly, and it worked against them there.
Yeah. Thing is, Curse Academy's lineup is not a turret siege team.
No.
Like, if you look at a team
Where's
like Ninjas in Pajamas in the European Challenger Series, when they, even with LeBlanc actually, when they get in front of a turret, someone goes and like makes a play and then backs out. Like you'll see Nuke Duck go in, like deal a bunch of damage, then hop back and be like, we're gonna chunk you off the turret so that we get it. They don't sit there and like throw auto attacks like waiting for things to happen. It's a bit more active siege.
This is
not the case for CA right now.
They don't even have long-range champions.
Exactly.
Either that chunk the turrets. Sivir very, very low, the 500. And see, I like that from Rux where he zones him out. And he's very aggressive because he has his passive available to him.
Yeah.
Just able to push this up and muscle their way through. And Rux wasn't there last time.
Exactly.
And like I said, he's the playmaker, so they might be waiting on Rux to be the initiator in these fights. Because once again, it is very squishy assassins. You have Kha'Zix and LeBlanc on the side of Curse Academy. And I think it was Jat who talked about it today, or Kobe, where the meta shifted from Season 3 to 4, where you're not playing tanky junglers, you're playing junglers that just walk in, try to assassinate, then get out. You don't soak the damage, you want to avoid it.
Engage coming in Curse Academy. They're going to jump in. The knockup on the Kez. What a play! Massive shockwave comes in, though the fight's still going on. What can Altec do? Looks in for the damage onto Mashme. Has to flash back out. There comes Duosec. Barrier comes through as well. The Rune Prison back in. Slows coming out from the Orianna. Cloud and Tempest forced it. No, they're not going to back away. Altec,
they might turn it on the Dark Flight.
He wants more. Rux, he's going to go back with this one. Duosec's going to have the chains up. Doesn't need him. 1-0. Wow, the call to go in on the Pantheon, though. What a move.
You can knock him up and infect him with CCs before he lands.
Right as he's going down.
Right as he's coming down. Comes down, woo, right back up into the air.
Does that mean he gets the damage twice?
No.
Okay. That's more like the Grand Trampoline.
Yeah.
That's the ability.
Yesterday I saw Pantheon come down and he had Dark Binding on him as soon as he showed up. I was like, uh-oh.
He's just sad. Jumps onto a Thresh
for 3
hook.
seconds.
My favorite is jumping onto a Caitlyn trap. It's so easy. You get enough time. It's like, just gate trap him. You can't get stunned. And then just like leave with a 90 caliber net. It's the way to do it. So, crazy battles still going through. 2 to 3 in kills. Honestly, it's an action-packed game. Just the champions aren't necessarily going down. But honestly, a lot of moves going back and forth with these guys. Dragon is back up. The health bar is too low for Curse Academy to get it last time, but they're going to posture for it here. 5v5, no Panthal, no Shockwave for 10 seconds.
Yeah, and it's mostly turrets going down in objectives. Curse Academy once again on top of the Dragon. Bishu, Yazuki, nowhere in the area. And this is a very similar build to Quas, is what Rux is running.
Yeah.
Typically, we'd see at least one attack speed item, like a Blade of the Ruined King, for a top lane Aatrox, but completely abandoning that and saying, I just want durability and magic resist, especially against this team that's going to be doing most of the true damage. And Curse Academy's poised. Oh,
the stun on the Pat. Good deal. Pat's going to get himself away from this one, though, with a leap. And they're going to be safe for now. We got some small time before a minion wave.
I actually have to say, in this team fight, Kha'Zix's ulti down in a trade for a Shockwave and Orianna is definitely worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Super worth it. They're going to be okay with this one. Still, the wave clear is great from C9T. You've got to keep in mind a Flash Tibbers is still an available option and is pretty devastating. I do want to keep talking about the Rux build, though. Yes. I think it's a very important point here and the right choice for Rux, which is that if you're the more early game focused team, which Curse Academy is, you've got to find a way to close the game out. Now, you can keep taking dragons and play vision control, but at some point you do have to dive turrets, and having a frontlander that is able to dive.
Oh, here comes the jump. Rux isn't there.
Really good stun there. Here you go. Annie following up as well. Kha'Zix goes down. K1 as well. Cloud9 and Tempest just keep finding battles in the mid game.
It's these picks from Kez jumping in at the right time, except for the last time we saw him. Not that.
Yeah, okay. But for the most part.
They took advantage of the fact that Rux and Duosec were not there, and it was 5 men strong for Cloud9 Tempest in the mid lane. Now they're going to start pushing back.
Oh, there we go. Duosec goes in. Oh, he gets Rune Prison. He did not want to do that one. Altec gets the kill. Good reaction by C9T, but greed from Duosec.
It was the mimic. You didn't have to mimic that.
You wanted to clear the wave.
Distortion and then came back to it. But Yazuki just showing up right in time to land the Rune Prison. Oh, it just feels so unlucky like that.
It's his own fault. I mean, he wanted to clear the wave to keep his turret alive. To be fair, the turret stayed alive.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, a kill is worth it for a turret, right? Like, if you give away your life, but you keep the turret alive, in that case it is. But, yeah, he went for 2 different abilities that gives you enough time in a Rune Prison. And you can't jump back if you're in prison.
Yeah.
So.
You're rooted. Doesn't allow that.
Nope.
Yeah. But Cloud9 Tempest, they're still behind in gold. Curse Academy's up a bit. But that was to be expected with this team composition that Cloud9 Tempest have.
Yeah.
If they can stay within about 3,000, maybe even 5,000 gold, this team composition, if you land a Shockwave, if you land a Rise Ultimate and all his abilities on those grouped up people, and then Vayne can start cleaning up, Cloud9 Tempest have a very good wombo combo.
Yeah, and it's interesting to kind of think about how C9T holds themselves in the game, because their only real wave clear is Orianna. It's the only like really good defensive tool they have to defend a turret. But because of the Shockwave and as well as the Grand Skyfall, instead of just like defending a turret and holding, it's like if you stick around too long, we can re-engage on you with positioning, which they're finding, which is very impressive by Kez. Honestly, I'm a big fan of him in this game so far. He's really the reason C9T has any kills.
Yeah, and Altec actually has 100% kill participation, 303, alongside Glebe Glarbu. They've got some kills by themselves. But down bottom, we've had a lot of visits from Bishu. He's just not been involved in one of them. So most of the kills here are coming from Cloud9 Tempest grouping up in response to Curse Academy grouping and then dissolving. They aren't dissolving at the right time or together. They're getting an objective and then like, all right, 2 of you stay here, 3 of us go somewhere else, and then Cloud9 Tempest shows up late, but it's really at the right time because they're getting those 2 stragglers.
Yeah, Curse Academy, really, they're not disengaging well. Like, even though they have the box and Sivir ulti, they're still getting locked down by the Pantheon engages, which is impressive, again, by Kez. But Curse Academy, like, pretty much has the tools they need. It's just not quite working to get them out. And as you mentioned, Altec skill participation, 3-kill Vayne, very scary. Something to definitely watch out for as we get into the late game.
And they're trying to converge onto Yazuki here. He doesn't have the flash, and they're going after Kez here.
Some damage comes through. The chain's not going to land. Not going to be enough for these guys. They back on out. C9T still around, but looks like it's just going to be control over the red buff right now. Pink ward's down. Defensive pink ward by C9T there. Altec standing by it. Hook not going to land there as well.
They don't get the ward.
Aww. That one they get. The crowd goes wild. And again.
Oh!
More wards dying.
Oh! They got it. Okay.
It's a whole lot of ward kills all at once. Jeez.
Yeah, it's the vision game. The objective is the vision. You said it before back at Dragon. Now the Dragon's down, it's all about can we get this pressure into the Baron side.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's very tough.
It's a touch early for a Baron attempt.
But they could still engage on them.
Yeah.
Right now, Yazuki is not there.
I don't quite know about it, though. The wards aren't deep enough by Curse Academy. Cloud9 Tempest, because they're keeping pink ward control, they're not allowing deep wards in the jungle.
Oh,
He's going to find it. Hook onto Kez. Good damage there. Shockwave going to be dodged away by pretty much everyone. Kez going to go down right away. 1, 2 for 0 so far. Rux in the front line, not even afraid of this one. C9T forced to run away. Great fight by Curse Academy.
And Rux, no passive pop, 2 for 0, and they get them out of that area. And now they don't even decide to go for a Baron. It's a little too risky still because of Rise. He's getting to that point, has the Rod of Ages completed. He's going to be going for the Archangel Staff. They're going to go for objectives that are just cold hard cash, very easy to pick up. And they're going to go back to this mid lane that they chunked a tiny bit.
I like this.
Taking a lot of damage.
Mid lane 2 turret's going to go down quite easily. And the cool thing I really like about Saber during push is you can ricochet off of turrets themselves and just get rid of the minions without much effort. And so it also gives them a long time until C9T can push back down the mid lane. They're down an extra minion wave there, so this gives a ton of time for Curse Academy to set up the rest of the map. Wards have gone down on the right side of the mid lane, the route towards Dragon. They can recall back, get items, and then still hold on the Dragon fight.
And we're going to take a look at that again. They just go straight in. The Shockwave hits nobody. And Rux goes over onto Bishu, blows him up with the help of Mashme, and also their mid laner, Duosec. And he's just gone. And Bishu is the linchpin here. Shockwave missed everybody, gets jumped on by Rux, and then you're panicking. It's a bad face check.
Yeah.
That's when you need a scrying orb.
Absolutely, even this early. And the thing is, like, Bishu put the ball in there to check, but Kez, like, ran in there anyway. Like, even though they had the ability to check that one for themselves.
Even Bishu checking with the ball put him in range of Rux.
It's true, it did. Because they were waiting on the other side of it. They weren't all in the brush. They were in different spots there to re-engage. Mid lane turret did go down. It looks like Curse Academy wasn't there in time to defend. And C9T now in position to defend the Dragon with no wards at all.
Yeah,
it's going to be
Rux up top. So it'll be a 4v5 at Dragon unless he makes his way there right now.
He's late.
But yeah, he's late. It's up now. Cloud9 Tempest already on it. Vayne, a lot of damage coming into it. Going to show up at the bad time.
They've got it. Unless you get a Miracle Steal, which they won't. Red team picks up Dragon. Cloud9 Tempest on the scoreboard now for Dragons. I got to say, Rux going to that top lane wave, probably not worth it.
Oh, the jump.
It's going to be the engage. Stun onto Rux. Pantheon drops in the back lines. There comes the Pat. Kha'Zix on the other side getting pushed around, though. Altec cutting around as well. Forced to flash away. Great Shockwave going to prop the passive of Rux. No, can he go anywhere? A little bit of slows come out. Disengage. 1 for 0. The passive popped.
And Rux, he's going for more damage. He has the Tiamat. Don't know if he'll finish that into Hydra or just wants the AoE wave clear so we can shove the waves like he was doing up top quicker. But I think that Giant Belt is eventually going to turn into a Randuin so we can tank turrets and also slow down Vayne's attack speed. Because he's going to jump straight into the fight. And that's what he's doing with that Tiamat. He's going to do some AoE damage, knock people up, and then slow them all for the engage and just have everybody collapse with Mashme's on the hunt. That is the goal here from Curse Academy, but they're catching up in kills. Slowly but surely, Cloud9 Tempest was up 6-2, and now it's 5-6. Last 3 engages have actually gone in Curse Academy's favor.
That's true. They are picking up kills, but the gold is not really stretching anymore. You said, you know, if it's within maybe 3,000 to 5,000 gold, it's not that big a deal for these guys. And you know, Altec 3-0-3, 8,300 gold actually. Pretty high score. He's really up there with the big gold earners on Curse Academy, despite being on the losing team. You got to watch out for that Vayne, honestly. And even everyone else is catching up a little bit. The mass assist streak for Bishu is giving him some decent gold.
Yeah, that's right. Assist streaks.
Yep.
Go explain that. I love that.
So the math, basically, it's once you get your second assist over kills, so once, for example, you go 0-0-2, or if you're like 1-0-3, you get 30 bonus gold, plus 3 is 45, plus 4 is 60, and then every assist from there is also plus 60. The way the math works, actually, is you just say 60 gold per assist minus 105.
Okay.
Or just the difference, right? Assuming that everything was on a way or like on a streak, 60 gold per assist minus 105 is the amount of bonus gold Bishu's got, about 200.
Wow. Almost has a kill. He almost has a kill just from assisting.
Yeah.
Which means that those assists are worth a little bit of a bigger chunk of cash.
Of course, plus standard assist gold as well. The knock him onto 3. Big engage. going to be 1 kill picked up. Great shockwave on the backside, though. Aatrox traded back, 2 kills picked up now. It's going to be a 4 versus 3. Can they do much else? Yazuki and Altex still in the back lines. Can they find K1? Forced to flash away. 2 for 1.
Half of Curse Academy looked like they didn't want to continue that engage after the start of it. That went 1 for 2 in the favor of Cloud9 Tempest, even though it looked like Curse Academy was winning that from the start.
Yeah.
Just the shockwave sucking people in, and then Duosec was out of there. K1 wanted to get out of there. Mashme was peeling off of it. Rux didn't have his passive back up yet. And in the fight that looked like it was going to go over to them, we're going to look at it again. Boom. Great engage here. Knocks up 2. Gets Kez and Yazuki very low. They blow him up. Boom. He's gone. But then Rux dies. Pat continues. Duosec's actually backing off. He's out of there. What are you doing, K1 and Mash? And Duosec's like, actually, I need to... Oh, okay. Now we're actually... What? There.
Yeah, I mean, that shockwave just turned it all around. The entire front line just died right away by the great shockwaves of Vishu. Now 0-1 and 7. On top of the assist goal, getting extra 120 for those just to keep that train going.
Talked about it earlier. Bishu's shockwaves are what sets up his team for those late games. All you need is one good shockwave, but he gets them almost every time. There's an exception where he missed everybody in one, and that fight you saw, it could have been a lot better for them in the past.
Yeah.
That one right there was a great shockwave, lining up for 2-1. In the late game, he's stacking on more damage. Look at his farm, 226, highest in the game currently. He's had a little bit more to do with team fights than he normally does in the early game with all of his assists, and hasn't concentrated on his farm as hard, but that's good for Cloud9 Tempest at this point because they got off to a bad start. They lost a lot of objectives, 5-2 in turrets, which means that if Cloud9 Tempest actually wins a team fight and take 3 turrets of Curse Academies, they would be ahead in gold.
Exactly. There's so much gold on the map for them. Normally you say, yeah, killing turrets is worth it. But just remember that there is a lot for C9T to grab pretty easily. A lot of low-hanging fruit here for these guys.
Except for the Baron. They tried to go for that last time, getting it all warded up.
It's a tall fruit.
Now they're there.
Yeah.
They're in position. They put all the wards down. They want to make sure that Curse Academy can't weasel their way in there again before them. And they'll have...
Sivir ult is popped. They're going to look for the fight. Knock up onto 2. It's going to be nice. Duosec goes for the burst onto Rise. Doesn't find much. Shockwave onto 2, though. Pat found a good spot. Forced to run backwards. The kill onto Annie, though. And Panther's going to drop back into the fight, though. Aatrox goes down. Who are they going to look for? It's going to be Duosec. He's going to be going down rather quickly, and he drops. 2 for 1 in this battle. Can anything keep going? Looks like the 2 for 2, actually. They do find Yazuki at the very end.
And they were focusing Bishu really hard, but they didn't have the damage to take him out. See, Rux is prioritizing damage, but it's still not helping him out. When he gets straight into the fight, he's just having his passive popped very quickly. He's getting destroyed. And Bishu, they've noticed he's the linchpin, but he has barrier. He didn't have it that fight, and he still survived. So later on in the game, Bishu's going to be really safe.
Yeah, and he's playing so well. It's one of the interesting things with Orianna, because you're, as a champion, immobile. You have some defensive tools. You've got a slow, a haste, a shield, like some CC from the ulti as well. So if you play it right, you do have the ability to get out of these fights. And also like bait people in, like with great shockwaves. Like the best thing to do is like shockwave and Aatrox and a Kha'Zix mid leap. You can catch them. It's hard, but you can. And I got to give him props. 1 and 8 so far for that player. An amazing job. 9 KDA in the middle of the game is a great score. And yeah, he's getting away and he's setting up his team for fights. Honestly, I feel like C9T are just sort of progressively doing better and better throughout the game.
Yeah, and it's because of that late game team composition. As it approaches later and later into the game, Rise scales incredibly well. Bishu on Orianna scales incredibly well. Vayne doesn't need an explanation. Items are so effective on her. And the fact that attack speed is one of the most expensive stats in the game, you need that gold.
Yeah.
And once he gets it, we tumbling all around the place, and Orianna can peel and shield him.
Yeah.
Oh.
So speaking of how these guys are playing, we actually have a replay of that last fight as we work our way through a pause. We can get that on your screen. Takes one out. So the engage comes in.
Rux goes in. He's on to Bishu. That's what he wants, but he can't get to him. And the positioning of the ball just keeps him out. And now Bishu's keeping them at arm's distance. And Kez just jumps back in to go ahead and create a zone. And they catch Duosec on the way out. Very well played there. And Pat off on the side, he actually chases down Yazuki. He does what Kha'Zix does best with that evolved R.
Yeah. And
stick-to-itiveness.
The stick-to-itiveness of the Kha'Zix ultimate. It's a great term for it. We should just rename it from Void Assault.
Void Assault. Evolved stick-to-itiveness.
Evolved stick-to-itiveness. Instead of evolved active camouflage. Way better name. Come on, creator design. Get your game together. So I actually want to kind of start talking about the team compositions then, because you've got this weird mix of like very individual champions that want 1v1. So like Kha'Zix is a big example. Aatrox, another big example. LeBlanc, a good example of that. These guys who are like, if I fight you 1v1, I'll probably win.
Yeah.
But you're pairing those with a Sivir who's going to get them all in anyway and say, well, it's going to work in a team fight. And the side of Cloud and Tempest, they've got kind of the similar thing going on. Rise works in both cases. Orianna really wants a team fight. Vayne loves 1v1s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you're going to be a bunch of guys that dive to the backline for 1v1s, it's like, are you really going to dive a Vayne?
And an Orianna.
You can peel. It's rough, right?
It's very rough. It's very rough. And I think that the lane swap overall was good for Curse Academy.
Oh, yeah.
But their draft for the late game doesn't seem to be working out for them as much as Cloud9 Tempest. They had that late game in their sights, and we see late game compositions get trumped by early games sometimes.
Yeah.
But you just have to solidify yourself and get a foothold in the game and then push up and keep getting turrets and keep getting the pressure.
Yeah.
And every time Cloud9 Tempest, they were up in kills. They got picks over and over again, and then Curse Academy could not push any further.
True.
They're like, all right, we got rid of, your AD carry. What are you going to do now? Oh, we killed Duosec. You can't push anymore. Your wave clear is gone.
It's true.
Duosec went a little too far forward. We rooted him. He's gone. You guys had to back up.
Yeah.
Because their team fight is clearly better for Cloud9 Tempest right now.
Yeah, some exceptional play overall by these guys. And the one other thing I want to point out when we talk about scaling is Kha'Zix versus Pantheon. That matchup as well. Because I know Cloud9, full stop, in the North American LCS, loves Kha'Zix because he's a carry jungler. He scales really well with items, can do freaking tons of damage in a team fight. Like, it's the term for Kha'Zix, right? It really is, jokes aside. Pantheon, it's weird because, like, he air quotes falls off, except for the fact that he has ridiculously good engages that no other champion can access, which keeps him relevant no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. And he gets the bonus damage when people are very low. And if he does end up building a Black Cleaver for himself, he helps all of his teammates out. Well,
Yeah.
all the ones that are going to be doing physical
all tech.
damage, which is why he didn't build one this game.
Solved it.
Boom. Didn't even build a Brutalizer.
Nope.
He's focusing on the late game here.
Lizard in a tank. He's got
So
damage.
he's getting tanky.
Yep. His team's got damage. He doesn't need any.
Whereas Pat, on the other hand, he's scared of the magics.
Dude, I gotta say, Curse Academy, like, and I was agreeing with you. I thought Randuin's was the choice here for Rux, but he went for a Ravenous Hydra. His only tank item. I mean, like, okay, Maw counts to be fair.
He's going to get Randuin's eventually.
Yeah, but it took him, like, he just bought a Giant's Belt and was like, okay, I got Maw of Mortius Giant's Belt, BRB buying a Hydra.
Yeah.
Completely stopped the tank build, and I don't know, like, Rux started getting really crushed in team fights.
Right now, a team fight is about to erupt, and we see Sivir pushing up the mid lane, putting a timer on this engagement, saying, Cloud9 Tempest, you have to come to us, and they are going to do it.
Smite goes in for Kez, Pat's gonna get Shockwave, and K1 does as well, means 2 kills now. And the Ascension used now by C9T.
No.
They're gonna jump in for this one. Mashmi's gonna get some damage on the mid lane turret, but they're gonna get flanked.
It's not worth at that point.
No.
We see them going all in here. We have Kez jumping into the red.
And he's not quite gonna find a stun. Good slow by Rux, but where can these guys go? It's a recall for Mashmi. It's a dash away by Duosec, and that
He's got the ball.
That recall is in Fog of War.
Rux is fine. Duosec's going to get stunned.
And dashes, runs, down he goes. All right, Cloud and Tempest find 3 kills plus a dragon right there.
And now they're in a position to do Baron because they chased Duosec all the way to it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 32-minute Baron with a 6-0 and 7 Vayne. That's going to be a quick kill right there. Mashmi, don't even try, brother. Cannot stop this one. He's going to have to back off of this one. 3-0-4 on Sivir. Got to say, he's team fighting pretty well, but his team just can't find what it needs.
And for the first time in the game, despite being down 5k gold at one point, Cloud9 Tempest now have a gold lead with this late game team fight composition for themselves. Vayne hasn't died. Orianna's died once. It's all just been Kez in the jungle giving up kills, but that doesn't hurt them at all because he's not one of their late game carries. He's just trying to soak up damage as much as he can and allow his team to just barrel into Curse Academy. That's exactly what happened. And I did not like the decision-making there for Curse Academy, where they left K1 and Pat at the Dragon, and Mashmi got minimal damage on that inhibitor turret, which will regen up.
Yeah, and the thing is, that play would have worked if K1 played farther back, because the play was leap in, smite Dragon, lantern out. He didn't get the smite, but okay, it's 50-50. But then K1 was so close by that he got caught with the shockwave. He has no reason to be that close.
At the same time, you really could have just had Bishu pull off a Dragon and zone them out with the potential.
True.
So if they had actually played a little further back, Pat, he still got caught, too.
Yeah.
Pat actually didn't make it into the Dragon Pit.
Not really. He wanted to.
He wanted to. The tension's there. But they had a pink ward, so he couldn't even Void Assault to get in the area. And now Curse Academy, they had to be looking on desperate times here. They're up against a Baron late-game team of Cloud9 Tempest. And now they're down in gold.
They are. They're down 1,000, but, you know, honestly, you've got a lot of individual playmakers. You've got a heavy damage Aatrox. You've got a Kha'Zix in there, and you've got LeBlanc. These guys can pick people apart. The problem is you've got a 607 Banshees Veil Altec, who's probably not going to go down anytime soon. Glebe Glarb, we haven't talked about him at all this game, but honestly putting up a great performance. Talisman of Ascension. He's got the Distortion boost there as well. 1, 1, and 12. 13 of 13 kills are on his shoulders as well. This entire bot lane for C9T is doing great.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic, like we talked about. Oh, nope. He's stunned.
Yep. And notice that Orianna keeps putting her shield on the front runner. Whoever's going in first has a shield before they check a brush, which is preventing Duosec from bursting them out.
It's a fantastic play.
Yeah, and even that the face check like 10 minutes ago around the Baron pit, in that brush that CA was baiting, when Kez face checked it, he had a shield on it when he went in. Still died, but like the shield is always there from Bishu before they face check anything.
So Mashmi, highest farm in the game. He's trying to put his team on his back here. Highest level in the game too.
Yeah, he's been
in the late game.
Heavy split pushing. I mean, he's got great damage output now.
Yeah,
he's maximized all damage abilities now. Now that his ulti's rank 3. But you know,
how's he gonna do against a Vayne that's almost approaching full build here? He's close.
Yeah, I mean, Mashmi basically has to hit the front line and hope they die first. Kez is not super tanky yet, only the Randuins. So it is possible for Mashmi to take people down, but it's not yet.
I love that ball that Bishu placed just to the left of the turret to zone off Curse Academy. All you have to do is get the ball in that position. Bishu is really known for his ball positioning on Orianna. Get it in a certain spot and just stay on the outskirt before it actually tethers back to you to cause the zone control and the possibility that you can shockwave a team to start the fight.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you'll forget that it's there. If your team moves up a bit, you'll be like, oh, wait, we're all standing on a ball. And then it's too late.
Yeah, it is too late. Unless you can, like, reflex flash the shockwave, but it's a scary thing for these guys.
He'll actually take a step closer and get it further up.
There it is.
And now he's just going to leave it there.
Yeah. Well, put some damage on Rock.
He's going to leave it in this area and try to just zone them out.
It's a great play. Leaves it in range. There you go. Turret still under fire. The rotation there for Rux. He's looking for the way in, but again, Baron buff about the timeout. This could be the opening if they look for it. Baron buff just now gone. So 39-minute Baron timer.
So K1 threw out his hook to try and make Bishu tether the ball, and as soon as he did, he put it back in front of him. So every time Bishu loses a position and the ball tethers to him, he will throw it somewhere else that he thinks an engage might happen. Oh boy. Oh boy.
There's the Lantern comes out. There's the engage in. The stun's going to land on a one person, but that's it. Tempest comes down as well. Rux off on the side. Hook's not going to land right there. Shockwave not going to hit either. Distortioned away there by Duosec. Trading blows back and forth. Giant minion wave top, by the way. Su's heading into the turret by the inhibitor. That's not going to turn into much. The jump in. Pat smites away Tibbers. Down it goes.
What?
Dang.
They really wanted that ward out of there.
You know, there's a joke I was hoping was going to happen here. So, Pat's old name was Titu, which is French for basically bear cub. And he just killed the little stuffed bear of Annie. So, you know.
There's a joke somewhere?
Yeah, there's a joke somewhere.
Bears.
Bears. Mike Ditka.
The Bears.
The Bears.
All right. So, Dragon's up right now. Curse Academy, they could go for it, but instead they're opting to keep the pressure on so they can't clear these side waves. But they are going to send Kez for Cloud9 Tempest because he can leap in, and he'll be fine just poking them all down.
Yeah. Going to see what else they can clear with this one. Mid lane going to be swept away. The Dragon is going to go down. Minute and a half till Baron. So, Curse Academy, I mean, they basically weathered the Baron storm. Think about this. It was 5-2 in turrets.
To burn.
No, I hate you. It was 5-2 in turrets, right? Before Baron. It went to 5-3 in turrets.
Yeah.
4 minutes of Baron buff.
That's true.
Curse Academy held up to 1 turret. Now, Cloud and Tempest are in the lead. They did a great job coming back in. And I was going to say, like, their mid-game decision-making was so good, but Curse Academy held the line, got a Dragon back afterwards, and now both teams will be ready to contest for Baron. And the Vision game starts now with 1 minute to go till it spawns.
Yeah, and you can see the impact on a team fight that Bishu's Shockwave creates. If it misses, Cloud9 Tempest are like, oh, we got to get out. We're going to lose this.
Yeah.
If it hits, that's the go sign. So as soon as he missed the Distortion Duosec and Mash Me spell shielded it, they just were like, okay, that's a vacuum. We're out of here. We're gone. And Curse Academy was trying to stop them. They pick up a Dragon for it. Gold pretty much even across the board now. And we're talking about the early game, mid game decision making. Not so good for Cloud9 Tempest. They brought it up in the mid game. Their late game right now is really good. And it's helping their decision making because they're braver going into these decisions with their team composition. And Curse Academy, on the other hand, complete opposite. Early game was really good for them, but they didn't close out in the mid game. They basically said, we dominated you.
Yeah.
We don't know what to do now.
Well, and think about what's going to be difficult about these guys as well is Cloud9 Tempest happy to play the farther back, more defensive game. 4 Banshee's Veils done on their team. Kez starting his as well. So engages from hooks, non-existent. Engages from Aatrox jump-ins, non-existent. Those are the only real CEC that Curse Academy has. So Cloud9 Tempest can pick the fights they want and disengage from the rest.
Rux can jump in, Blades of Torment, and then pop his Randuins, and that might be enough. But at the same time, as soon as they go in, Bishu will throw the ball behind and create a counter engage.
I mean, yeah, like Curse Academy gets in by Sivir ulting and running at you, which is pretty easy to hit up. Now Duosec and Pat are going to steal away blue buff. Pat gets that one because Duosec got the other one on his side of the map. Curse Academy have wrested back control of the map. C9T playing much more passively here. They're going to contest towards Baron right now and pull the attention away. Bottom lane, big wave going to die to the turret. Curse Academy, though, pressuring mid right now, and now they're forcing C9T to move.
Cloud9 Tempest, did they flank from the side?
There's the engage. Sun's going to land on a multiple people. K1 taking a bunch of pain. He's going to go down. In comes the engage from Pat. Shockwave onto Rux. He's going to go for Duosec, who jumps back across the wall. He's going to be getting away from this one.
These Banshees aren't even popped.
Goes down. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's no damage coming in from Curse Academy. Rux's passive now popped as well. It's going to be 2 kills in for Cloud9 Tempest. They found the engage.
Rux went to sleep in the trees.
Yep.
Fell back into it. Having a relaxing time. That fight was stressful. 2 for 0 in the favor of Cloud9 Tempest. They're going to get another objective off of this, whether it's an inhibitor turret and an inhibitor, because there's barely any wave clear on Curse Academy's side. And Kez, he's just going to take this up.
And here they go. Turret under fire. Turret number 5 for Cloud9 Tempest if they get this one. Tabor is leading the charge as well for these guys. There's the turret. 30 seconds until Rux is alive. Even when K1 comes up, it's 5 versus 4. This inhib will fall. And now we'll see C9T Baron on a 5v4.
I say they set up for it and bait them into another fight, because Bishu's about to have his Shockwave back up, and if they just stick around, they don't even have to start the Baron. That'll actually ruin their Banshee's Veils.
They know there's no wards. The Oracle's trinket lasted long enough to check all of the brushes on the way into Baron Pit.
Yeah.
They know they're fully safe right now. Duosec flash Rune Prison. Nice opening there. Kill picked up. Another 5v4.
And now they'll do it.
Yeah. No LeBlanc? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Orianna ball, you can see it zoning him out. Pat off on the side.
Trying to.
Rux on his way in. Engage found onto Pat. Shaka goes in as well. Kill picked up by Altec again. 7-0-10 on him. Back to go for Baron.
7-0-10 on Altec. He also didn't die on his Lucian. He went 13-0-4. He's looking at an infinite, basically undefined KDA for the entire tournament if he doesn't die.
20-0-14 so far.
Ugh.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say he probably has the highest KDA in all of Challenger.
It's a strong player.
EU and NA.
Yeah. I think he's in good shape for this one. Mash Me, gonna sweep away the bottom lane wave. He's at 4 offensive items. Same. Actually, the funny thing is Mash Me has more offensive items than Altec does because of the high minion score and not buying a Banshees. But the problem is the team is setting up Altec way better right now. Glebe Glarbu is finding better engages than Nokia. Bishu has just great shockwaves overall, and none of these guys are going to get caught with their Banshee's Veils.
Yeah, that's true. The Banshee's Veils on them, very early buy, just such a devastating item. And it's not even the fact that it blocks a CC spell. It'll block damage dealt to you.
Yeah.
And if somebody uses an ultimate, boom. Huge part of your HP is still intact. You're ready to go. And you can stop and engage. This is just a great item. Very versatile.
We've seen it get incredibly popular, like more so than before.
Yeah.
Over the last month or so. I think that and like Mav Mortius just got like super, super popular in the recent history. Recent past, I should say.
We didn't change them either.
No, I think that AP comps got more more used. We saw less AD mids and more AP tops, so the worth of Magic just went up. Here we go, top lane Siege with Baron buff. Last time Curse Academy held it to 1 turret death. Looks like it's going to be turret number 1 right now. Shockwave lands onto Rux. The engage comes in, but Darkflight gets him out. Lantern was there just in case as well. Turret number 7 is down.
Shockwave is also down. Duosec, they're going for Ken.
Good damage down on Kez. Almost gets him, but no, the shield keeps him alive. Pat trying to get away, but the engage comes back in. They find a 1-for-1. Rux on the way out. He's going to go down, though. Altec hooked up. Trying to get away. He's going to stay alive for now. K1's going to go down. Lifesteal from Kez. And, from Altec, keeping him in a good spot right there. 3-for-1 this battle. Duosec not finding any more damage here as well. This turret's going to be going down.
And neither AD carry has actually died this entire game, despite all of these 29 kills happening on the Rift. Cloud9 Tempest, they could end it here. They're going to go straight for this inhibitor. They have the middle one already down, and they have their wave clear. They have their attack damage ready for them. They are ready to take out these turrets. They're going straight for it.
Here they go. 42 seconds. Or sorry, 25 seconds of 4 versus 2. Got my numbers backwards. One Minda is going to break the bonus armor on this turret. Glebe Glarber holding the aggro for now. They find Duosec. Down he goes. LeBlanc got nowhere to run. Glebe Glarber holding the turret on, and there they go for the Nexus. It's going to be a 45-minute game, but Cloud9 Tempest come back from behind and take game 1.
Just an incredible display there by all of them. And I want to point out that Vayne, 100% kill participation, 7-0-14, involved in all 21 kills. And now Altec is sitting at 20-0-18.
Yeah.
In the entire Challenger Series. Wow. That is incredible. Even like not dying is a huge testament in itself in just a normal game.
Yeah, sure.
But up against another Challenger team, that's enormous.
Yeah.
And Altec, previously Cloud9 Tempest, when they were the Walking Dead, they had Bobby Hank Hill. And now they picked up Altec, and he's doing wonders for the team.
Yeah. And I got to kind of completely re-stress how crazy that the kill participation is, though. Yeah. Because unlike Saber, you can press R and you'll get kill participation in a team fight. You literally have to attack each champion before they die. So everything that Altec has gone for did fall. Everything that happened in front of him as well. That game was played kind of around him, and again, Glebe Glarber as well. Found incredible engages. The Flash Tibbers on point a lot of the time there. Made the fights happen, and they just turned around the mid game so well. Found engages from behind in gold, and just got the kills.
Yeah, that kill participation point. Vayne is one of the only characters in the game that has only single target abilities. I think Poppy's the other one.
Yeah.
And you can kind of not count Warwick, but anyway, because he has the W.
Yeah, he has a team buff.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a single target ability.
Like you were saying, huge testament. He had to hit everybody, be in range of everybody, which means that he had great peel from Bishu. His team was there to back him up. The Rune Prison as well on top of it, just setting up him for success. And on the flip side, though, we did have Mashme having a good game. He's actually died once every game that he's been in every game. So he's up to 3 deaths now. I think he died at the end there.
He was on the fountain.
He lived.
Yeah.
That's right. So he's down to 2.
Yeah.
These 80 carries are going after KDA stats now.
He's got good stats for it. And yeah, I gotta talk a little bit. So Mashme did play well, I thought. I know he was dropped from the Coast lineup. They wanted a new AD carry, and they found WizFusion, who's playing well.
Yes.
And Mashme found himself a new team, and he's doing very well with his team. I think Curse Academy is still a strong team as well. They needed a little bit to get themselves in a better spot.
So Don't Mash Me went from Coast, who was taken to 5 games by this very team, and joined the team that almost beat them.
Yeah.
So if they can propel themselves up, maybe he'll have a chance to actually face off against Coast if they end up in the relegation.
See if Curse Academy can do it, honestly. See what they can do.
Tempest,
Yeah. Well, with 1 game in the books, we're going to take a